Today on our 2012 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited, you're going to be taking a look at, I'm going to show you how to install the Roadmaster Diode 7-wire to 6-wire Flexo-Coil wiring kit, part number RM-15267. The 5 main components for a flat toe setup are your braking system, your wiring, your tow bar, your safety cables, and your base plate. This is what our diode kit's going to look like when you get it. What this is going to do for you is this is going to allow you to transfer the turn signals, brake lights, running lights from the RV through the Jeep to the Jeep's tail lights, or to the Jeep's lights, period. It's going to allow you to work everything while you're flat towing it. Little tech tip, if you're installing the Stay and Play Duo braking system, it's a good idea to install this either at the same time or just before you do the braking system, because 3 of the wires on the Stay and Play Duo actually tie into this. The diodes here, what these are for, these are going to protect your factory wiring in your Jeep from any backfeed if your RV has a wiring issue or there's some issue between the RV and where it goes into the diode. That diode is going to protect your factory wiring in your Jeep from any issues. On the Wrangler, you need a brake light relay kit in order for the lights in the Jeep to function properly. That is not part of this kit, but I recommend you get one. Otherwise, when you turn on your blinker, when your brake system presses on your brake pedal, the brake light is going to override the turn signal. Other than that, this is a pretty simple installation. We have our 6-pole plug that we mount on the front. It's going to come with a bracket, mounting hardware, your diodes, your wiring that's going to go from your plug back to your tail lights. You're also going to get a butt connector. I would suggest exchanging that out for a heat shrink butt connector because it's going to live outside of the vehicle, and that's going to be for your ground wire. You're also going to get your umbilical cord. Your 6-pole side is going to be your towed vehicle side. 7-pole side is going to be the side for the RV. This umbilical cord will stretch up to 8 feet. You get a little bit of wire loom for up in front where your wire comes out of the back of your plug. This is the bracket that comes with your kit. The Jeep that I am working on today has an aftermarket bumper. It's completely up to you if you use this bracket or not. I didn't want to drill 2 holes into his aftermarket bumper, so I just put a different bracket on it. But this one works just fine. That's what it's for. So now that we've gone over some of the features, let me show you how to put it in. So this is where I mounted my 6-pole plug. What you see here is the breakaway switch from the braking system that actually the Stay and Play Duo is going to tie into this wiring that comes with your diode kit. As I mentioned, this bracket is not the one that comes in your kit. This is an extra one that I had laying around the shop. I just added it on the corner and then used the factory or the bolt that's on the bumper itself. I just took that bolt out and put the bracket under that bolt. I did have to drill 1 hole, and that was to a self-tapping screw on the other side of the bracket, just to make sure that this bracket is secure, because this is an off-road vehicle. Now, as far as my wiring goes, your wire loom comes in your kit. I added it on right here. I actually started back here rather than up here and just fed my wire up to here. So what I did is I ran my wiring all the way through the frame to the back, because you take it off-road, it's less chance that anything's going to get inside that frame and tear up this wiring. There's a hole right up here on the side that I fed my wiring through, and I'm leaving a little bit loose right here because my braking system, the Stay and Play Duo, the green, yellow, and white wire are going to be tying into this. I ran it down through my frame. Airline tube works well because it's a little bit of stiffness. If you don't have airline tube, wire hanger, something like that, something with a little bit of stiffness so you can push it through the frame here. Anyway, it's through the frame. You're going to have to take your time. There's plenty of holes along the frame that you can, go from one hole to the next. Take some electrical tape and tape your wire to whatever you're pushing through there to feed it through each one. I went all the way through. You can see right here, I came out. I'm going up through the shock mount here, and my wiring that goes up to my taillight is right through here. And we'll just go up like that. Now we'll take a Phillips screwdriver. We're gonna remove the 4 screws that are holding in our taillights. And our taillight should just pop out like that. So as you can see, we actually have, the customer has a 4-pole plug installed on his vehicle. That's what these 2 large plugs are, the split, or the T is. So in order to get the diode kit to work properly, we can't tie into this wiring here because this signal is going from the light out. We need the signal to go to the light. So we're gonna have to do it in here. So I'm gonna pull this tape off, and then we're gonna test to figure out which wires we need to use. Now we've determined that our white wire with our yellow stripe here is gonna be our turn signal and brake light signal. And then the white wire with the purple stripe is gonna be our running light signal. How we did that is using a test light like this. Now it's not necessary to have one quite this extensive. Just a small, simple one works. And how you're going to do is have somebody turn on your blinker, then you're going to test your wire and figure out which one is going to make the light blink. Then have them push on the brake. The brake light and turn signal should be on the same wire. Once they do that, have them turn on the running lights and then test your other wire. You should get your running light signal from there. You can see where my hand is right here. I stuck my hand through the taillight housing, and there's actually a foam pad that covers this hole down here that we're going to pull our wire up through. Just like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our wires and we're going to split them all the way down to about here, maybe just a little bit lower. My green wire I'm going to have to route over to my passenger side, so I'm going to go ahead and push this in that I've split off the rest of it back down through the hole. So I'm going to start with my turn signal. It really doesn't matter which one you start with, and it really doesn't matter which side of the vehicle you start with. And the instructions will tell you to start on the passenger side and take everything on the driver's side. It really doesn't matter, it works the same way. I'm going to have to cut this back a little bit. Our diode, you're going to see an in and an out. Out is going toward the light, in is going to the wiring. So we're going to take our single side's going to go again toward our light. And we'll take one of these, we'll take this other one, and we'll put it on our yellow wire here. Just like that. Go ahead and connect my diode there. Something like that. Now we'll do our running light signal. With the exception, the diode that we're going to be using has a yellow tab like this, because what we're going to be doing is our brown wire that we cut off, we're going to be doubling it up, and it's going to jump from here over to the passenger side for our running light signal over there. We'll put our blue one on the wire, the factory wire, and then our yellow one, we're going to cut about there. Again, hold on to your brown wire. We're going to strip back the ends on both, tie these two together, and add your yellow spade connector. And this will plug right in like that. We'll take our brown wire, pass it down so we can get it fed across. Just like that. With that down there, take my white wire, which is my ground, go ahead and cut that off. We'll add a ring terminal. Now if you look right here, there's actually a ground wire already installed there from the 4-pole wiring he's got on there. I'm just going to take that screw out. I'm going to mate that up right with it and put the screw back in. Next, our diodes are going to have 2-sided sticky tape on them. I'm going to take these and just stick them together like this. I think to appease myself, I'm just going to zip tie these right to wiring from this 4-pole wiring. Just like that. And we can reinstall our light. And for my wiring going over to the passenger side, because he has an aftermarket bumper, there's no real where really to attach the wiring inside of it, and it's hard to get in there. If you have the factory bumper, there should be some wiring that runs across it that you can run your wires through and zip tie them to that factory wiring. Since we don't have it, this is his 4-pole wiring that he installed. What I did is I came out of the hole, went over top of the frame here, and right, you can see the wiring here, right up inside of this bracket, this cross brace here, between my 2 frame rails. Came out here, again went over the top, and here's my brown and my green wire. Now on our passenger side, we're gonna have a cap. We're not gonna have the foam cover, so we're gonna drill a couple holes. I'm gonna try and keep them, try to keep it up above the frame instead of going across so it doesn't hang loose. You're not gonna take a chance of getting it caught on something. Now up inside there, you're gonna have some foam that we're gonna need to, once we get the tail light out, we will pull that foam out of there, or at least off to the side. Get our wiring. And then we can also always throw some silicone sealer around that, seal up that hole once we're done. So you can see where my 2 wires coming out there. You can see all the foam down. Just move enough just to get your wiring up. That'll help keep those sealed up pretty good. Once you have your diodes installed, reinstall your tail light, same way you took it off. Next, we'll go ahead and cut our wires down, feed them through like that. I'm gonna pull my wire loom back just a little bit. Make sure you put the boot that goes on, put it on first, or else you're not going to be able to get the plug through this hole. We'll slide that back, and then on the back of our plug, everything is marked. LT left turn, RT right turn. You have your TM for your running lights and GD for ground. Then you'll have a couple other pins for any other accessories. A center pin for battery charge line, if you were to put one in. Go ahead and split our wires like this, just like we did in the back. Take a small Phillips or flathead screwdriver. You want to make sure you don't pull the screws out all the way, because these are tiny and they can get lost. Now we'll just start hooking up all of our wires. RT, green. LT, going to be our yellow for our left turn. And we have our ground, which is going to be our white. And then TM for our running lights. I'm going to take some dielectric grease. You can also use silicone. And we'll go ahead and cover up our connections here. This will help keep them from corroding. Get that slid in there. Get our boot slid on. Get our wire loom put back on. We'll take some electrical tape and we'll just tape that up all the way over our wire loom. That'll help keep it sealed. Now we're going to test out our wiring. What we don't want to see is we don't want to see our brake light overriding our turn signal. First, our brakes. Now we'll turn on our right turn signal, apply the brake. We want to make sure that our brake is not overriding that turn signal. Now that we've tested our diode kit, we know it's working properly, we're ready to hit the road. That'll do it for a look at and installation on the Roadmaster Diode 7-wire to 6-wire Flexo-Coil wiring kit, part number RM-15267 on our 2012 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited.